This poem is called God of the Gays by Avery Dillon. Have you met the God of the Gays? Have you seen the way she looks at us? As if there is nothing she is more proud of in the whole history of the entire world than the ways we have found to have sex and pleasure and life outside of the Catholic's natural law, in the face of preachers who teach that we are a scourge, and despite the massive rejections and microaggressions of families who decided we didn't fit their Norman Rockwell, and so they told us to go. They told us to go. And so we left, slinking out the back door cloaked in a coat of shame more brilliant than Joseph's coat of 1,000 colors, ears ringing and eyes stinging from that mushroom cloud that shot toward the heavens, marking the place our hearts went to pieces, the moment we began believing we are sick, unworthy, and alone. We didn't know that mushroom cloud was a prayer, hightailing its way toward heaven, where the God of the Gays was suited up and sliding down the fire pole, on her way to the scene of the crime, loaded down with buckets of pride and a hose full of comfort, prepared to chase us into the night. Our brilliant shame led her right to us, and she is prepared to douse the flames at any cost. I need you to know this God of the Gays. The center of her heart is tattooed with the names of every one of us who has ever died a gay death, of AIDS, of murder, of suicide, of self-destruction, of hateful Johns and abusive cops. The skin those names is marked on stretches wider every year, as the list grows longer, as the grief grows thicker on her insides, and there is an ocean in her belly where she has captured all of our tears. She hasn't missed a single one, and sometimes she floats there, remembering the moments she was with us when we passed, assuring that not one of our faces will ever be forgotten. And for those of us still living, she is the marshal at every pride parade. She is the DJ at every club dance. She is grandmother matchmaker, informant of our gaydar. She tells us to be honest, to be kinky, to be sexy and sensuous, to live hard and play harder and do it all with our heads up and our hearts out, no matter who slings what slurs in our direction. She remembers those slurs too. She takes each one personally, like a knife to the gut, like an arrow to the soul, and it isn't her job to forgive and forget, and so she lets the wounds fester, lets them get infected and inflamed so they course through her veins like holy molten anger that erupts out of her mouth as a righteous cry for justice when she leads us into battle. I owe my life to the God of the Gays. She doesn't stop looking, even when everyone else has turned away. She scours alleyways and underpasses, searching for the pieces of self and soul and body that we have discarded in the despair of being coerced into believing our desire is disgusting. The God of the Gays has taken every piece of every one of our broken selves, painted them 100 shades of gold, and laid them down one after another, so that no matter the space we find ourselves in, we will always be able to find our way home to her, down the path of that holy, glowing, yellow brick road